Hello, everyone, and welcome to Investing and Trading Live. As always, my name is Josh Lilquist, and we are talking about the financial markets, investing and trading live, as always. And I do have a special guest on the show here today. He's going to take the driver's seat. And as we were talking about at the beginning before we started the podcast here today, I said, Al, what are we going to talk about here today? And he said, retirement. Okay, I said, perfect. What kind of strategies? And he says, we are talking about retirement. So therefore, after no more further ado, Mr. Al Konigson, let me try that again. Mr. Al Konigson, thanks for being on the podcast here today, and I will let you take it over from here. Thanks, Al, and here you go.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Yeah, this is really an important topic, and we find more and more people coming into our centers that are in retirement or getting close to it, and they're just concerned about what their future looks like. So I want to talk about retirement because one of two things. You're either in retirement or you're on your way, whether you want to or not. And what we find is that the majority of the people that are in retirement right now know that they should have planned earlier or that they should have done something different. So my advice to people that are not retired, start listening to those that are. And what they'll tell you is the earlier you start, the greater your opportunities to live the lifestyle that you want in retirement. And think about it. There isn't one person that I can think of or that you can find who's struggling now in retirement who planned on having that happen. So a lot of times it's out of their control. So what happened? Why is this the situation? Why do we have a crisis in this country? Well, you know what? For many, what happened to them was Wall Street advice. Wall Street advice happened to them. And what I'm talking about there is what you have been told to rely on for retirement is a strategy that is not, for the most part, in your best interest. They're making available to you assets that are mediocre in their returns. That's basically the wrong assets. It's something that gives you the potential for maybe 4 to 6% on the upside on an annualized basis, with full exposure to bear markets, to 50%, 57, 60% drawdowns. And those assets that they have you put together in the retirement plans that are available through you and that they recommend, basically there's no protection. So that's what happens when you go through a bear market, like we did in the year 2000. People that had retirement accounts back then lost as much as 50% of what they had. If they were in more of the technology-related stocks, they could have been down 60 to 80%. In 2008, it happened again. The S&P 500 was down 57%. 2020, when the pandemic hit, the market went down about 34%. And unfortunately, the retirement, and basically I'm talking about 401ks and 403bs, that's what Wall Street has kind of pushed as the go-to retirement plan. They take a full hit when we go through corrections or bear markets. And also, they have high fees. Fees as small as 2% can take 50 to 75% of what you could have when you retire away from you over the full number of years that you are saving for retirement. And when you look at those accounts in the year 2022, I should say, they were down about 25%. So for the last couple of years, people have struggled, and now they're just their portfolios are fighting to try to get back what they lost. For a lot of people that are in a situation where they didn't want to be, they went through the early years when they started working, started their career saying, you know what, I'm going to worry about this later. I'm going to have some fun now. I'm working hard for this money. I've always got time down the road to catch up. Well, the sad news is that the years go by fast, and all of a sudden you're in a situation where you can't go back and start when you should have started. So a lot of people just didn't earn enough to save. That's a problem, especially now with inflation. What if all the money from your job goes just to pay your bills, just to basically stay alive? Most people need additional income, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Some people actually withdrew money from their retirement accounts during these recent periods of inflation. A lot of people don't have a plan or think they have a plan, but it's really not what is in their best interest. A lot of people go through emergencies, maybe health issues. And then a lot of people are just afraid of the market. They're afraid of risk. These are all things that can impact your ability to have enough for retirement. And let's talk about that for a minute. What do you need? How much do you need to retire? Well, right now, according to a study by Northwestern Mutual, the people they surveyed said they need at least $1.27 million to be able to retire comfortably. People that have $1 million in assets now, they think they need about $3 million to retire comfortably. So how are people doing? How are they on track for that? Well, no, actually there's a pretty big gap between people, what people have now and what they think they'll need. The average amount of retirement savings is about $89,300. That's the average amount. If you look at the median amount, in other words, half is above that, half below it, that's $27,376, down from $35,000 a year ago. That's about a 22% drop. But think about that. That's the median balance. And when you look at the average at being $89,000, that includes a lot of people that have multi-million-dollar retirement accounts. So what can we do about that? I mean, well, here, what we found is that one of the pieces of advice that people get from Wall Street is just to work longer. And what we find is about maybe 70% of the boomers plan to work until they're 70 years old or older, not what they planned on when they were younger. And we also found that the people that have plans, that have some financial knowledge, they can knock about 2 years off of their retirement age, bringing it down from, say, 65 to 63. People that don't have a plan, that are uneducated, they have to add at least 2 more years to when they retire. So those aren't things that are, that are happy, that you want to look forward to. What can you do? We talked a lot about the kind of depressing things. Remember, this is the first generation now. If you haven't retired or you're just going into retirement, this is the first generation that really is going it alone. No longer do people have pensions. Most of you don't. I know some of you do have pensions, but most people don't. So they only have Social Security and their savings, their retirement savings to rely on. If you are in one of those Wall Street advised retirement strategies where maybe you're getting 4 to 6% a year, but you have access or not access, but you are hit by 50 to 60% drawdowns when we go through bear markets, that has a big impact on how you save or how you live your retirement years. The only thing you have control over, you can't control Social Security, but you can control those assets. So let's go from being depressed to optimistic. How do you get around that? Well, what if you're not retired yet? There are income strategies. What we do at the Online Trading Academy is teach you what some of these strategies are where you can generate additional income. The majority of the people in the world that are financially successful have multiple sources of income with only maybe one job or no jobs, but multiple sources of income. There are several that are available to you. Basically, Wall Street is not telling you about them because they want you to feel you need them. But we can show you how to generate additional income so you can still pay your bills, have some fun while you're young, while you're growing older, and also have a little extra money to put into your savings. Because if you don't have money left over after the bills are paid and you have some fun, there is nothing there for retirement. And the sad truth is that about 50% of the people in this country or more have zero saved for retirement. Actually, women are even at a higher number. More women have zero saved for retirement than men. So all you guys out there, if you really love your wives, maybe this is something that you need to deal with. Not just education for you, but for them. Women always are also live longer than men on average. So there may be some years where your wife is alone. Don't leave her out there without any kind of knowledge and ability to take care of herself financially. And those are the things that we talk about in our classes. If you're retired, what do you do if you're retired? Well, if you have a retirement account and you're just drawing it down to pay your bills, have some fun, and travel, pretty soon that pile of money is depleted and you may have many years left to live. In fact, the greatest concern that people have in retirement now is not outliving their money as much. It is outliving their money, but that even is more concern to them than death. Health is another issue, but that's a scary thing when you are maybe 70, 75 years old and you realize you don't have enough money left, because you might have another 10, 15, 20 years to live. In fact, people growing up now are fully expecting to live into the triple digits. So if you're retired, why not learn these income strategies? The same strategies will teach you while you're still working, you can use in retirement. Look at your retirement account kind of as a money generator, something you generate income off of. Easy strategies that we can teach you to do that, where you actually are looking at a very small amount of money to invest in these strategies that have a potential for much greater returns. What about protection? If you work 20, 30, 40 years, you want to make sure that what you have stays with you. Not only stays with you and allows you to generate income off of it, but what about growing it? Maybe you have a legacy that you want to leave. Maybe you got a charitable issue or foundation that you want to contribute to. Whatever your goal is, grow your assets so there's something there for you to do with what you want. What we like to do is have you tell us what you want your financial future to look like. What do you want your life to look like in retirement? Don't let Wall Street tell you what it's going to be based on what you have and what they think you can earn. Tell us what you want it to look like, and then let's work on how you get there, how you get to that point, which may be a little bit different for each person. And I know that a lot of people are thinking, well, if I do something with my money, it's risky. I just need to put it into something that's like a fixed income, which is, again, what Wall Street basically tells you to do. When you're in retirement, put more in fixed income. How has that worked? Well, inflation has significantly outpaced the returns that you get from most of these fixed income vehicles. Things have changed a bit, and there are some nicer returns now, but still inflation eats most of that, if not all of that, away. So look at the market not as something that's risky. Look at the reward potential and the ability to control the risk. And that is the most important thing that anybody who is a trader or investor should learn. How do you control risk? How do you make sure that what you have stays with you? If there is a profit, take that profit. If there's a loss, learn how to take a small loss, which can never become a big loss. Don't let risk concern you or keep you out of doing something that could change your lifestyle, your financial lifestyle. But get the proper education. Don't do this on your own. You don't have to do it on your own. There is education available, and there are tools and resources that are available that can help get you through this. Wall Street has pretty much let you down. If you're not happy with where you are financially and you've relied on Wall Street, you've relied on a retirement plan put together by a plan sponsor, and it hasn't worked for you, maybe this is the time to take control of your own assets and really realize the potential for living the lifestyle retirement that you want. Use your imagination. What do you imagine your future to look like? And then let's try to make that a reality. Hey, thank you guys so much for listening. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a fantastic day. And look at the markets as your friend, no matter what's happening. Up markets, down markets, opportunities for all of us.
Thanks, Al. That was some great insight. It's always great when you talk about retirement accounts, just with your knowledge and everything. And just for you listeners, make sure to smash the like button, whether you're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to the show. And that always helps the show. But also, if you have topics that you want Al to cover, or any topics on anything in the market, make sure to post a comment in the site and comment any topics you want covered, and we'll deliver as many of those topics as we can. We've been appreciating the great feedback lately. So we will all see you all soon. As always, same time, same place next week. Until then, retire young, my friends.